Welcome back to the deep dive. We've got a really fascinating source today. It's an in-depth critical review of a film called Roofman.
Mm.
And this review, it's describing more than just a movie plot. It feels like it's talking about an experience.
Yeah. Like
Because,
that.
you hear Roofman and maybe you think, I don't know, action thriller, guys scaling buildings, dodging lasers, that kind of thing.
Right. The usual Hollywood stuff.
But the source material we have is really emphatic. It pushes back hard against that idea.
It does. It frames it completely differently.
It's saying this isn't really a crime thriller at all. It's digging into something much deeper: guilt, redemption, forgiveness, even like the resilience of the human spirit.
The review actually calls it a masterpiece of emotion.
Which is a strong claim.
It is. And, well, that really sets our mission for this deep dive, doesn't it? We're not just here to recap the plot.
No.
We need to dig into the how. How does this film, according to the review, manage to go beyond a simple crime story? How does it become this thing the reviewer calls a mirror to the soul?
What are the specific techniques, the cinematic choices that elevate it?
Exactly. What makes it earn that masterpiece label in the critic's eyes?
Okay, let's unpack that. Maybe we should start with the protagonist. He's played by Channing Tatum, and the review stresses he's not your typical anti-hero.
Right. He's central to everything.
So what defines this character? Why is he this sort of the emotional core?
Well, what's really interesting is how the review defines him almost by what he isn't. He's not some cool, calculated master thief.
Okay.
He's described more as a man who seems lost, like the climbing, the breaking in. It's almost just a symptom of something broken inside him.
A symptom.
Yeah, like he's made these huge mistakes, hurt people, but underneath it all, there's this sense that he still dreams of being better.
The review used this phrase I found really striking. Broken, yet full of quiet kindness. How does an actor even portray that? How does Tatum manage it?
That's the balancing act, isn't it?
Yeah, it sounds like the whole film rests on him conveying both things at once, the regret and maybe some lingering decency.
It seems so. And the review really praises the subtlety. It's not about big, showy, emotional scenes. It's apparently in the small things, the micro-expressions. You're supposed to feel the weight of his internal fight, the exhaustion.
So pain, regret, but also that little spark.
Exactly, that tiny spark of hope that refuses to die, as the review puts it. And that's crucial. It lets the audience connect, maybe even sympathize, with someone who's doing things that are objectively wrong.
Okay, I hear that. But let me just push back slightly. Does that risk becoming, a bit cliche, this sort of sad-eyed criminal trope? How does the review convince us this is deep cinema and not just manipulative?
That's a fair question. I think the key insight the review offers is about the central conflict.
Okay.
It argues he's not really running from the police, not primarily. The real chase, the thing defining the film, is internal. He's trying to escape not the police, it's himself. That shift, making the physical escape almost secondary, that's what elevates it, according to the review.
So it moves from external action to internal psychology.
Precisely. You stop worrying so much about whether he'll get caught and start worrying more about, well, his soul, I guess.
So the whole setting the rooftops, the shadows, it's less about the heist plot and more a visual metaphor for his isolation. Like he's trapped in his own head.
That seems to be the argument. It's like psychological tunneling made visual.
Does the pacing reflect that internal focus too? Is it slow?
Yeah, the review points that out specifically. It says the story doesn't rush, it breathes.
Okay.
You get these longer, quieter moments, reflective sequences. It forces you, the viewer, to kind of slow down with him, absorb the struggle instead of just getting swept up in action.
Makes the audience feel his solitude, maybe.
Yeah, complicit in it almost.
Okay, that makes sense. And it leads us perfectly into talking about the film's look and feel. If his internal state is the real story, then the visuals, the sound, they must be doing a lot of the work.
Absolutely critical.
The review says every frame feels like a painting. So how does the film use, say, light and shadow to get us inside his head?
This is where the review really dives into the craft. It argues the cinematography isn't just pretty. It's like a moral compass for his state.
A moral compass? How so?
Through light and dark, it's apparently very deliberate. When he's in the shadows, it's not just dark. You're meant to feel his fear, his isolation, almost texturally.
Texturally.
Yeah, like the darkness has weight. The review mentions heavy contrast, almost like a modern take on chiaroscuro painting.
Okay, that's interesting. More than just dark equals bad, it suggests the shadows are a place he chooses to be, maybe. To hide.
Exactly. It's a hiding place, but it's also a kind of cage he's built.
And the light.
Conversely, when sunlight does break through, maybe it hits his face, the review says it's treated not just as light, but as a visual promise.
A promise of what?
Hope, maybe. Redemption.
Hmm.
That he might still find his way home. The light becomes symbolic, almost spiritual, not just, well, weather.
But how does it avoid feeling, kind of obvious? We've seen sunlight as hope a million times.
Well, according to the review, it's about the restraint and the texture again. They apparently use specific lens choices, maybe shallow focus in those shadow scenes, to keep him feeling visually isolated.
So the light feels earned.
Yeah, like it has to cut through all this visual and psychological noise he's surrounded by. It's not just handed out easily.
Okay. Let's shift to sound. If the visuals are restrained, I'm guessing the sound design follows suit.
Very much so. Described as haunting, but also extremely subtle.
Subtle how?
The music, when it's there, is quiet, haunting, almost like the sound of his own thoughts. It's meant to be intimate.
So not big orchestral swells.
No, quite the opposite. The review highlights maybe more non-diegetic sounds, his breathing, the creak of a roof beam, things that keep you locked inside his perspective, his
And the
anxiety.
review right there with him.
Exactly, inside his head, essentially.
And then there's this point the review really emphasizes the use of silence. Apparently, sometimes the music just stops completely.
Yeah, that sounds powerful.
The quote is that silence says more than words ever could. How does that work in practice?
Well, using silence intentionally like that, it's risky, but potentially phenomenal, right?
Right.
When everything drops away, you're left with just the raw reality of the moment, the weight of everything he hasn't said, maybe his regret. It forces a kind of confrontation.
No escape through sound.
None. But the review stresses that the silence feels earned. It's not just a gimmick for atmosphere. It comes after maybe the period of intense internal struggle, letting the emotion land, letting it settle.
But isn't there a danger there that it just feels empty or boring? How does the film pull it off?
According to the review, it hinges massively on Tatum's performance.
Ah, back to him.
Yeah. When that silence hits, he has to carry it all. Communicate the history, the regret, with just a look or a shift in posture.
So the film trusts the actor.
And trust the audience, too, for us to fill that silence with the emotional context we've built up. The silence doesn't create the emotion. It lets the existing emotion resonate deeper.
Okay, I see. That really flows into the film's big themes then, doesn't it? This isn't just about one guy. It's making a broader statement. Morality, redemption.
Exactly. And that seems to be the core power identified in the review. Its perspective on morality is, well, mature. It rejects simple good versus bad.
No easy answers.
Right. It's saying no one is entirely good or bad. We're all this complex mix. We're capable of messing up badly, falling, but also maybe of standing back up again.
It offers empathy, maybe, but not excuses.
That's a good way to put it. Empathy without easy absolution.
Which brings up forgiveness that's often handled so neatly in films. How does this one approach it, according to the review?
It avoids that neatness entirely, it seems. The review really emphasizes that forgiveness is shown as anything but easy. It's portrayed as painful, something that takes time. It's a process, a difficult one, not just a moment of decision.
Like burning away the shame, maybe?
Yeah, something like that. It requires real confrontation with the self.
So, if forgiveness is tough, what's the path to redemption then? What does the film suggest is needed?
The review points to one key thing: courage. Courage.
Yeah, redemption is only possible if you have the courage to face your past. The physical climbing is hard, sure, but the real struggle is facing who he was, what he did.
So he needs to stop running internally before any external change can happen.
That seems to be the core idea. Only then can a new path even begin to seem possible.
And again, it comes back to the performance delivering that.
Absolutely. The review loops back constantly. That emotional honesty from Tatum is apparently what makes it work. It's not just called breathtaking. It's about how every little expression, every quiet moment feels real.
It makes you feel him, as the review puts it.
Yeah. That connection is vital for the message about redemption to land. It needs to feel earned, difficult, not just granted.
Okay, so let's try and tie these threads together. We have this contained, subtle performance, deliberate pacing, textured sound design, the light and shadow play. It all leads back to the review's final score, a 9 out of 10, and that phrase, a quiet storm. What does that really capture about the film's mechanics? I think quiet storm is a perfect summary. based on the analysis. It signals huge intensity, the storm of his guilt, his regret, but it's all happening beneath a very controlled, calm surface.
The quietness of the filmmaking, the stillness of the performance?
Exactly. The film uses containment to actually amplify the intensity. It understands that drama doesn't need shouting or explosions. Deeply felt emotional pressure, held tight, that can be far more powerful.
That contained pressure is what makes it hit hard emotionally.
Precisely. It sounds like a really sophisticated piece of filmmaking, one that trusts that the biggest dramas are often internal.
Yeah.
And if we connect that to the bigger picture, why does this resonate so much, according to the review? It's because it stops being just about this one character, this thief.
It becomes about us.
It acts as a mirror. The technical skill ensures the external story is really just a framework, a metaphor for internal struggles we can all recognize. That makes the themes feel immediate, personal.
Which takes us right to that final thought from the source material. They say the movie never truly ends because it kind of leaves one inside you.
Yeah, that's a haunting line.
So what's the ultimate takeaway, the final nugget of knowledge from this dive into the review of Roofman?
I think it's about applying the film's message, that quiet whisper the review talks about. It's about human potential.
Okay.
You can rebuild, you can forgive, you can start again. It's a reminder that the path to redemption, even though it's painful and slow, it's always there.
If you have the courage.
If you have the courage to stop running from yourself. That seems to be the lasting echo of this quiet storm.